Right. Beautiful butterfly. Hi, I'm Katie, and we're outside today because we're doing a brand new garden project, and so I wanted to show you that. My good friend picked up this big wooden frame for me, and I guess it was meant to hold glass as they carry it on the trucks. It's very, very sturdy. Looks like there's a little separation here, but it's not budging, so no big deal. And then she had a whole bunch of decomposing wood chips, so that we've used that to build it up as much as possible. There's some beautiful pansies to share with you. Looks like some bugs have gotten to them. Okay. Got some other really pretty ones right here. The place next door hasn't been occupied for 3 years, so I'm not worried that anybody's going to wonder why did I put a planter box right smack in the middle of both of our properties. And the reason why I chose this location is until about 5 p.m. this is in full sun. From morning on, this garden gets sun, which is better than any place in my backyard, and there isn't more room in the backyard as well. So, this is going to be a quick and dirty version on how to do a raised bed as fast as you can. And you can build your raised bed out of any material. You just want to, oh hey, look at that. This is something we get to see every day. It's pretty awesome. If you don't mind the noise. So like I said, the reason why this is going to be so quick is because we're only here for the summer. We're leaving in October. The Navy is moving us on. So this garden needs to produce, and it needs to produce now. We're also on a military budget, so it needs to produce for as cheaply as possible. So again, my friend got me the wood chips and the frame. I paid her in food and lots of thank yous. On the bottom here, I've got a lot of cardboard boxes that have been laid out flat and overlapped on each other. That'll help weeds to not even think about growing up through this. And I have plenty, get rid of that so it's safer. I have plenty of cardboard around since I'm buying a lot of my produce in bulk, like apples, bananas, and celery that I got yesterday. And over here, I have a really nasty makeshift compost heap. And what we have in here right now, the majority of this is, well, it looks like the majority of it is watermelon, but it's really banana peels. And there's some citrus, and there's a decomposing papaya over there that was never any good. Even the bees love it because there's so much fruit in here. But underneath that, I don't know if you can tell, is rabbit poo. And that's going to be very nitrogen rich. It's going to be very, very good for the soil. And I'm going to try to scoop some of this out and put it directly in the garden. Normally, I would not do this. I would be giving this a lot more time to decompose, but I don't have time left anymore. Time is up. It's time to get this in the center of my garden, and so the worms constantly have something to eat. And then we're going to pile on soil on top of that and anything else I won't need to put in there. Oh, here's a little update on my sunflowers. These ones look like they're doing well, and these ones look like they got eaten. That's why you always plant a lot more than you're ever going to need. I love that sign. Anyway, it's usually locked, but somewhere around here I have my shovel, my all-purpose shovel. I'm not doing anything without you, I promise. That's why I brought you out here. My son pretending he's a soldier, shooting everything. Alright, so I am going to get started on this nasty job of putting stuff in the center of the garden. Wish me luck. Hopefully I won't get too sweaty and dirty because I have an appointment after this. And no time to change. You guys, it smells so bad. There's a lot of poo in there and a lot of ants. I've unearthed something. Well, it's teeming with life, and that's what I wanted. Ugh. Can't wait till I can't smell that anymore. I just had an epiphany while I was adding this to the garden. We use pretty much any herbivore's manure in our gardens with great success, unless they've been fed something like a corn-based diet and there's a lot of hormones, pesticides, etc. that went through their system. Usually what they filter out through their waste is extremely beneficial for our plants and is exactly what we want to be eating, because if they ate something healthy, that's going to come out in the micronutrients, go back into the soil and refeed the next crop of plants, which is what it's designed to do. We do not put herbivores or carnivores stool in here because that seems to be something the plants don't really like until it's very broken down and dilute. So you wouldn't see me putting dog poo in my garden for two reasons. Loves the new spring grass. The first reason you don't put just any dog poo in your garden is a lot of dogs either have parasites that you don't know about that are transmissible to people, or they are on a monthly chemical to prevent them from getting those parasites typically. So be very, very cautious of that. That and the fact that there is meat in the diet is just a lose-lose for your garden. However, that's not always going to be the case with my dog. We are going to be trying the vegan diet. The one is called V-Dog and has incredible health success stories. And she is young enough and has no issues right now that it'll be easy for me to see if anything changes for the worse. At the same time, if she was young and had a lot of health issues, it would also be easy for me to see if things change for the best. So either way, I should be able to get some good feedback from her. Andrew is that kind. Let her go. She wants to eat the grass. Dogs love sweet grass. And you see this grass that's bigger than the little grass that we have, wherever it is hiding under the weeds? This is why I don't pull up the big grass, because she does like it. It's nice and sweet, and so does the bunny. We don't spray anything on this grass, so it's fine for them to eat. Anyway, side trail, rabbit note. I just said side trail and rabbit note. You know what I meant. I'm sure what I said is going to bring up a lot of questions, especially with my 15 years experience as a vet tech. There are so many videos on this topic. There are a lot of controversial ones, of course, from people going back and forth from either side. And I will say this: dogs are not wolves. And I do not believe that dogs evolved from wolves. I don't believe that there was only one type of canine that got on the ark. So whether you follow evolution or the Bible, and I obviously follow the Bible and believe it's 100% true, dogs are not wolves, never have been, never will be, and they do eat a different diet than wolves do. They are naturally more inclined to spend time with us and consume a lot of the things that we do. Yes, they do chase prey and do eat it, so obviously being part carnivore is part of them, and some are more inclined to that as others. But I would say for the most part, unless a dog is mistreated or bred improperly, most dogs spend their time nurturing and giving companionship. And they're highly intelligent, like most animals out there. They're just more expressive to us in ways that we can understand. And so yeah, let's just keep it like that. Dogs are not wolves. They are not built inside like wolves, and they can eat an herbivore diet and live very, very well on that. I would like to see more research as far as puppies go during that fast growth phase, what would be needed in order to complete their nutrition there. So However, with the adults, it's been shown over and over that a vegan diet is in many ways far superior for them. And I want to do what's best by my dog. So, sorry about the weeds and the crazy grass, you guys. I usually do not have the yard looking like this, but it's really not in my control since we rent here and the landlord has not yet responded to the fact that we need the lawn mowed. So hopefully that will change soon, but we don't own a lawnmower. It's no big deal as long as it doesn't get so tall that it starts hiding vermin, which it's almost to that point right now, so I'm gonna have to get on top of that, contacting him. So here's the amount of compost that I got into the garden. It's really quite a lovely amount, and I think that that's going to be just about right. It's going to look like almost nothing once I spread it out, and it'll give a good base layer of nutrients so that once it's spread out, my plants can have something to reach down for with their roots. And we're not going to be filling this all the way up to the top. I want a nice lip on it, and I need to get some new gardening gloves. My last ones are busted and I don't need to be getting blisters. So I'm going to spread all this out. And oh, I was also mentioning what you make your planters out of. You can use just about anything to make planters out of. Cinder blocks, wood, pretty much anything you have lying around. If you have a stony place like here, if you're digging up an area, you'll find enough stones to put around it, just like Ireland. However, try if you can to avoid chemically treated wood, because unless you want wood staining on your salad, I wouldn't be planting inside of something like that. One time we used railroad ties to do the outer structure of our raised garden, and we had to line it with black plastic. Now, black plastic wasn't ideal, and I typically do not like growing in plastic because of the chemicals leach out from that, but it was a far cry better than what they treat the railroad ties with. This appears to be, as far as I can tell, untreated wood, so we're just going to go with the raw wood here. Worm castings. Okay, so worms love to eat dirt and everything that's in the dirt, and then they go poo, and the plants love their poo, even more than any kind. So it's very, very good for the plants. I know that sounds very yucky to us, right? We don't eat it. The plants eat it. So yes, what I'm putting on the top of this for my plants, for any garden that you're doing for food where you want as much nutrition out of it as possible and happy plants as possible, I would definitely include this as one of your main ingredients. I got this locally in Fort Worth at Archie's Garden Land. They tend to sell a lot of organic plants as well as GMO-free plants, so really good for the bees that are out here and the wild insects flying around. So you're not going to be killing off things with your vegetable garden when you're not intending that at all. And yes, this is a definite must, I would say, to put in your garden. I really wanted to put in rock dust as well. John Kohler recommends that on growing your greens. If you are not familiar with that channel, check it out. You are going to be amazed. It's like an encyclopedia of gardening that you will never reach the end of. There's so much to learn there about any type of gardening that you want. So definitely check out John Kohler with Growing Your Greens on YouTube about anything with gardening. And he recommends rock dust because you got all your minerals there. All those most agriculture farms will put in maybe 3 of the minerals back into the soil, and we need the full spectrum for health. So that is why something like rock dust would be very beneficial. Now, I don't have it. I couldn't find it locally. I haven't gone to Lowe's yet, and that's my last place to look. But even if it's there, I've run out of time. I want to get this in the garden going today. So, oh honey, you want in too? I'll stand next to you. We're going in just a second. So I'll show you what else my husband brought home for us to put in the garden today. We're going to finish it out and plant it. And I will then show you my secret weapon on why I don't need the rock dust, which John Kohler also covers in one of his videos. I believe it's down in Florida, where they're planting in pretty much a sand-based soil, and they're still getting fantastic results because they're putting all the minerals back in. And stay tuned for that one.